This is the story of how I made a giant Lego fork that I will end up showing to Carl, a friend who specializes on doing giant Lego builds, and he also happens to be a Lego designer. So I felt like building something out of Lego, but I've built a ton of Lego sets recently, so I decided to create something original myself. Not only that, I also wanted to make something giant out of Lego pieces because it would make an amazing title and thumbnail for the YouTube algorithm. After spending a whole 2 minutes, the best I could come up with was building a giant fork. Now, I could have chosen a number of different giant things to build, but in the end, everything came down to Lego Star Wars. Back in the day, I was aggressively buying Lego Star Wars sets for 2 reasons. I really enjoy building the Technic frames most of them have, and to collect the minifigures. Lego Star Wars minifigures can fetch really high prices in the aftermarket, so if I ever run out of money to pay my bills, feed my 7 kids, 5 dogs and maybe the wife, I could always try and sell some of my expensive ones. Or you could subscribe and let me keep them. Buying all of that Lego Star Wars means that I now have an insane amount of grey Lego pieces. Like way too much grey Lego pieces, which is perfect if you want to build a giant Lego fork. I decided that for the fork to qualify as giant, it would need to be at least longer than I am tall, and so I settled on making it 2 meters long. I then used an online Lego unit converter and found out that 6.5 NFTs or a 2 meters long build equals 250 Lego studs. To get the project started, I decided to sketch the whole thing digitally on the computer. That makes Lego projects easier to plan as you move in a 3D dimensional space with unlimited access to Lego bricks. It kinda feels like you're in the Matrix, or Metaverse, or whatever it is called these days. I went inside the Lego Metaverse, laid down the 250 Lego studs for reference and started working on my digital fork. After the digital project was done, it was time to get the bricks and start building it. I decided to go easy on myself by not making it very curvy and went for a minimalistic and flat design, and made it in 3 different sections so it would be easier to transport and bring it with me for dinner. And after 2 days of building, it was time to put it together like the Infinity Stones.
What? What?
So I messed up some of the measurements, and this means that some of these axles can't get through.
Let's try again. Yes! Yes! Woo!
And with the fork done, it was finally time to show this to Carl.
It's coming in.
There we go. Oh my goodness. It's bigger than the Titanic?
It's bigger than the Titanic.
Actually, I thought of attempting something like this myself. And the real problem is getting like multiple directional curves, right? That's where I always have trouble with big stuff.
Yes. So if I do it like this, it kind of holds up, but if I do it like this, I'm gonna...
Whoa. Oh
there
boy.
You go.
That's another big mistake.
Yeah.
At this size, I find that Technic stuff is just too juicy.
Okay.
So like all the big stuff that I made has had system all the way down to the core.
This is why I hate Technic. You see, it's not even good to make giant stuff. It's breaking all over the place. Well, I'm dropping this off.
At the end of the day, Carl wasn't impressed, but hey, now I have a giant Lego fork that looks cool to me. What do you guys think? What giant thing should I do next to try and impress him? Let me know in the comments.